Hi, everyone. I am here. We're going to be talking about down payment assistance as I've been talking throughout this week. We are on multiple social media platforms, so that's why I'm going to be looking everywhere. Julian Nasario is going to be joining us today to go a little bit over what this means, the requirements, and anything and everything that you might want to know about these. Let's just bring him on. And as you know, this may be a little, techie, but this is the way it goes. Okay, let's see, just waiting. There you go. So I don't know how this is going to be working with the echoes that we get. So anyhow, welcome, Julian. As I mentioned a short minutes ago that I was, talking to our audience, is we have multiple platforms. It's been kind of a new thing to try to get Instagram and Facebook and YouTube all at the same time. So forgive us if we're not just looking at one camera. We're going to be doing like back and forth. But welcome, Julian. It's good to have you here.
Great to be here on the live stream, getting straight to our audiences and informing and educating about the different options available to them to purchase a home. So, I'm excited to break down down payment assistance with you today.
Right. So the biggest question, what is down payment assistance? Is this the same thing as when we hear there are government programs out there to help a home buyer?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different from what we're talking here today. The down payment assistance programs are locally funded, so they're separate from government-sponsored down payment assistance programs.
Okay, so what does that mean? So what does that down payment assistance program do for us? Does it help us? What does it cover, if you will?
Yeah, so as it kind of says in the name, down payment assistance will cover your down payment requirement at least, and there are a few different options that are available to cover most, if not all, of your closing costs. Because when you're purchasing a home, you not only have your down payment to cover, but you also have closing costs in addition to that. So that's what we mean when we speak about down payment assistance.
Okay, so you're saying that it can potentially cover closing costs as well. So what is the amount typically in a down payment assistance? I know it may probably depend on the program, but what is the range that anyone on the different programs has, accessibility to?
Yeah, no, great question. So down payment assistance can range from typically 3% up to 5% of the loan amount. So just keeping it in simple terms, on a $100,000 loan amount, $3,000 to $6,000 in assistance, and you can multiply that per $100,000 you're borrowing.
Gotcha. So if I have any money, if you will, left over any of that assistance, then I can apply it toward my closing costs, which some of our viewers may or may not know. Closing costs would be more towards any prorated fees that have to do with like property taxes or HOA insurance, anything that would come about at closing time, right?
Correct. So you have your typical or standard closing costs are going to be your lender's origination fee, your appraisal fee, credit report fee, title report. You have your property taxes, homeowners insurance that you prepay for a year, recording fees. So these all kind of add up or are inclusive to what you pay at closing for closing costs.
Gotcha. Okay. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot by my buyers or my clients is, does it only apply for first-time home buyers?
No. So the down payment assistance is not exclusive to first-time home buyers. It is designed for first-time home buyers. So There are two main programs here in Arizona. Home Plus is one of them, and Home and Five is the other down payment assistance program. And they are very similar. There's a few small nuances between the two programs, and as we go through the pre-qualification process, we will, discuss the merits, pros and cons of both sides. For the purpose of today's live, I don't know that we can go into, the granular details of
Right.
each one of them. The high level overview, though, they are pretty identical. Um, so
So
yeah,
just to tell our viewers, a little bit more about this in general, this is intended to be a little bit more informational. Every case is different. So if this at any point intrigues you and you want to know more, our phone numbers are going to be, throughout this live, just so you can reach out. You can call us, you can text us, and then we can take a closer look at your personal situation, right? So another thing is that I get asked quite often is, does this assistant have to be repaid at any given point?
Great question again. And so it depends on the program. So each program has different options available within it. So I'll break down a couple of the options that are available within
Okay.
the Home and Five and Home Plus programs. So there's one option where you can receive 3% of the loan amount towards, again, your down payment and closing costs. This particular option does not require a repayment, or I should kind of reframe that it records on the property as a second mortgage, and there's zero interest. There's no payments, and after 3 years of occupying the property, it's forgiven. Or at the time that you decide to refinance, if it's after 3 years, then there's nothing repaid. It's on a prorated basis, is what I'm trying to get to, and so that's one option. And there's another option to where you'll receive 5% of the loan amount, and that one is not forgivable. So when you refinance or when you sell the home, you'll have to repay that at that time.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and then I've heard, sometimes where they refer as a first-time home buyer, and going back to the first-time home buyer, that as long as they haven't owned a home in the past 3 years. Is that correct?
Correct. You are considered a first-time home buyer if you have not owned a home or been on title to a home in the last 3 years.
Gotcha. So what would be the requirements that if I wanted to apply to see if I qualify for a down payment assistance? Can you go a little bit about the requirements?
Yes, absolutely. So as far as eligibility requirements are concerned, the minimum credit score requirement is 640. There is a income limit depending on, or which is 122,100 for properties located in Maricopa County, and that is based on the borrowers on the application. So you could have a husband and wife, and perhaps have just application in one name, and we'll just base it off of the applicant or the borrowers. Or sometimes there's multiple mixed families where the mom or dad are in the household, right? Their income doesn't necessarily need to be included into that income limit. And a home buyer education course must be completed online or in person, and those are really the stipulations when it comes to eligibility requirements.
Okay, so if my credit score is not quite there, but I do want to at least inquire and find out, what do I have to do?
So the best way to find out what you need to do in order to be ready to purchase a home is reach out. We'll have a general conversation about, again, credit, income, and assets. Figure out where we can improve. We do have an option to do a soft credit inquiry where it doesn't impact your credit score. So a lot of folks, that's one of the barriers to finding out or talking to a lender is not wanting to have their credit pulled. And so that is a great option that we've just rolled out in order to, again, determine how much you can qualify for today, or perhaps what we need to do in order to qualify.
Okay, so that is awesome. So, okay, but then if I'm not quite ready and I come to you and okay, we have that discussion, my credit score is not quite there, then generally speaking, can you help me or guide me on what would be the best next steps to get to the point where I really want to, use this down payment assistance program and be ready to, buy a home?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in banking and finance for 18 years. I've been a mortgage lender for 9 years. I've reviewed thousands of credit reports, so I'm very familiar with the different ways that we can improve your credit score. I have tools that will do simulators, and you'll give me advice as well to, the quickest and easiest path towards, improving your score, whatever that may be, 20, 40, 60 points. I also work with, credit repair services and agencies, very reputable, that will again take a consultative approach and see what options, are available to you to help you get to that point. It is a process, to purchase a home, and so that's
Right.
again kind of what the purpose of this live is, to present information and educate, the audience in terms of what's available, how we can help, and let you know that we're here for you.
Okay. So if there's no cost involved, right, to talk to you?
No, absolutely not. There's no cost at all.
Okay. Just want to make sure, if I want to find out where I'm at. Okay. So then one more thing that I was thinking about is, are there any fees associated with, the difference between bringing your own down payment versus utilizing down payment assistance? Because I do get asked this quite often. So what would be the difference between both?
Yeah, so there are some program administration fees involved with the down payment assistance. They're nominal in comparison to the grand scheme of things. So when I say that, I mean, $500 to $700. And again, this is to kind of help keep the program running so that, the folks that are administrating the funds can continue to provide this assistance to all families. And essentially, those are being repaid through the program in a way. And so there are no fees to speak to a lender and inquire and learn more about your options. The what I tell folks a lot of times, honestly, that there is no such thing as a free lunch, and so there is a bit of a trade-off when it comes to down payment assistance. The interest rate is going to be a little bit higher than the market rate if you were to come in without, with your own funds for down payment and closing costs. But again, this is a great way to clear one of the tall bars in home ownership, which is your down payment and in closing cost requirement.
Gotcha. Well, this is all really, really great information because I think there's a lot of myths about it. This program that everybody keeps talking about that's just for first time home buyers and, myths versus facts kind of thing. And again, this is very general, guys. At any point, just reach out, ask questions. We will help you gladly with no commitment or strings attached. The last question I may have for you, Julian, is probably the biggest one that maybe you and I know about is sometimes they're available, sometimes these assistants are not. And how do we know about this? How would we know if this is available for consumers? Because right now, there may only be one program available. It may be limited. There's only a certain amount of them up for grabs, if you will. And then when there's a switch and change and we don't have this availability, then what happens?
Yeah, then it's from day to day. There is some volatility involved with the funds that are available for assistance, and at what rate they're available. And so that's where connecting with a lender that can stay in touch with you and give you these updates as we receive them. these products and programs are changing. So there's, subject to change from one day to the next. And that's part of my job is to educate you and show you the options that are available. Come up with a strategic plan to help you access these funds and keep you informed of what's going on in the market.
That is fabulous. Okay, so this is our very first one, guys. We're going to be doing short and sweet. We're going to try to be doing this every week, every Wednesday. This could potentially change depending on, how we see the interaction. If you want to hear about a specific subject, let us know. Text us, DM us, call us, whichever way you want to communicate to us. We're open and happy to talk about it. So I hope this helps. I really appreciate it, Julian, all this awesome information that you've provided today for our viewers. Also on Facebook is going to be on the screen, our information on Instagram. It's going to be right down below where you can reach us at. Again, I'm Ariana with Platinum Living Realty, 480-406-0863. If you have any real estate needs, we can certainly talk to you. Like I said, no strings attached. Anything you want to end this with?
Yeah, I just echo those thoughts that, we want to come out live, raw, in person, and let you know that we are imperfect, but we are trying to help as many people as we can. We truly believe in the, power of home ownership, and it takes, as I mentioned, a community to help each one reach one and teach one. And so if you have any questions or thoughts that are on your mind, like you mentioned, myths versus facts, we love to debunk those here on a weekly basis, but we'll keep coming up with different topics that are meaningful and impactful to homeowners or potential homeowners.
That's correct. Okay, well, everybody have a great week. We will see you next Wednesday, and hasta la vista. Remember, hablamos español if you ever need anything in Spanish as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Ariana. We'll talk to you soon. See you soon.
Thank you, Julian.
Bye.
Bye-bye.